Good evening, councillors and community, and welcome to tonight's meeting. Can I just check, can people hear? Thank you. There have been about 100 sound checks since Monday night. My name is Cathy Henderson and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Merri-bek City Council, and welcome to everyone here for this meeting, which will elect the Mayor and, if approved, the Deputy Mayor. I want to first acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the lands of the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people. We wish to acknowledge them as traditional custodians of these lands and waterways, and we also want to pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, as well as to all First Nations communities who of course contribute so much to this city. This meeting is being recorded and web streamed live to Council's website and to Facebook, and the recording will be available afterwards also. So the first item of business tonight is to elect a temporary chairperson. Is there a nomination for temporary chairperson? Councillor Abood. Councillor Pulford. Are there any other nominations for temporary chairperson? No, well then we'll declare Councillor Pulford as the temporary chairperson. If you're happy to stay there. Or,
sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Pulford.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, councillors. For members of the community, I'd like to introduce the councillors in attendance this evening. We've got Councillor Natalie Abood, Councillor Sue Bolton, Councillor Helen Davidson.
Good evening.
Councillor Liz Irvin, Councillor Jay Iwasaki, Councillor Chris Miles, Councillor Helen Polides, me, I'm Councillor Adam Pulford, Councillor Ella Svensson, Councillor Kat Theodesis, and Councillor Oscar Yudis.
Good evening.
There are no apologies for this evening. So we'll now move on to declaration of interests and or conflict of interests. Councillors, are there any declarations of interest or conflicts of interest in relation to tonight's agenda? So after the mayoral election, there are a couple of items on the agenda. Adoption of council meeting dates, appointments to portfolios, internal committees. So that'd be the items in question. Don't believe we've got any conflicts of interest. So we now are moving on to determining the term of mayor. The Local Government Act 2020 provides that before the election of the mayor, council must determine by resolution whether the mayor is to be elected for a 1-year or a 2-year term. Councillors, is there a motion to set the term of mayor? Councillor Helen Davidson, ask what you're moving.
Yes, I would like to move the term of mayor to be 1 year.
Great. Is there a seconder for that? Yeah, great. Councillor Davidson proposing 1 year for the term of mayor. Councillor Abood seconding. And there's a second point to the motion. Point 2 from the screen behind me notes that the term of any deputy mayor is identical to the term of the mayor. All those in favour? And I can declare that carried unanimously. Great, so we've already elected a temporary chair, or do we need to do another one? No, we might have just done that a bit early. Okay, so next up, role of Deputy Mayor. In accordance with the Local Government Act 2020, Council can determine whether or not there is a Deputy Mayor. Councillors, is there a motion to establish the office of Deputy Mayor? Yeah, Councillor Yudis to move and Councillor Davidson to second. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Great, so we now move on to the election of mayor. The Local Government Act 2020 and Council's governance rules require the election of the mayor to be presided over by the Chief Executive Officer. I ask the Chief Executive Officer, Cathy Henderson, to please conduct the election now.
Thank you so much, Councillor Pulford. And before we start the election process, can I also acknowledge with pleasure that there are many MPs and former mayors and councillors in the gallery. So I particularly acknowledge former Mayor Councillor Lambros Tapanos, Member for Pascoe Vale Anthony Chanfloney, Member for Broadmeadows Kathleen Matthews-Ward, former Mayor Mark Higginbotham, and I think and the former Member for Brunswick, is here as well, Carlo Carli. So thank you very much to everybody in the gallery for being here tonight. Now, I will soon call for nominations for Mayor, but before I do that, just want to explain that under the Local Government Act, to elect a mayor, an absolute majority is required. So at Merri-bek Council, there are 11 councillors, so that means an absolute majority is 6 councillors to vote for that candidate. So I'm going to call for nominations now for the position of mayor for the one-year term. I'm opening nominations. Councillor Yildiz.
Can I nominate Councillor Helen Davidson for mayor, please?
Thank you, Councillor Yildiz. Councillor Aboud?
Do you need a seconder for the nomination?
Yes.
I'd like to second the nomination for Councillor Helen Davidson.
Thank you, Councillor Aboud. Councillor Davidson, do you accept that nomination?
I do, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for the position of mayor? Councillor Svensson.
I'd like to nominate Adam Pulford for the position of mayor.
Is there a seconder for that nomination?
I second.
Councillor Iwasaki. Thank you for that. Councillor Pulford, do you accept that nomination?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Pulford. Are there any other nominations for mayor? I'm about to close nominations. Okay, nominations have closed and we have 2 nominations. So this is going to be put to a vote through
I request that the 2 candidates make a little statement. We did
Thank
last
you,
time.
Councillor Bolton. Thank you, Councillor Bolton. Can I invite you to move a motion to the effect of that the candidates for mayor be invited to give a short speech?
I'd like to move a motion that the 2 candidates for mayor give a short speech.
That's seconded by Councillor Aboud.
Yes, please.
I'm not going to put that to the debate. This is a vote for whether the candidates for mayor should give a short speech or not. So all those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, that's carried. So we'll move now to a short speech from each of the candidates in the order of nomination. So Councillor Davidson, I invite you to speak.
Thank you, and thank you, Councillor Bolton. As you are aware, I'm an independent councillor with 12 years' experience serving on this council, and I've had the privilege of working with a few of you. And for those who are returning, I'm looking forward to working again with you. And for those who are the new councillors, I acknowledge your hard work during the lead up to the elections. Each of us brings very unique perspectives to this role and a lot of strength to the table. What I value most in my time on council is being able to work collaboratively across political spectrums and across different personalities. So I think having this broad approach allows me to work well with a variety of people with mutual respect and constructive dialogue and teamwork. And we're not always going to agree, but I think fostering respect during our debates and outside of the council chamber is something that I can do and I have demonstrated during my time on council. I know we're entering some challenging years. There is a state election and a federal election coming up, and as an independent councillor, I provide a solid independent perspective from this council moving forward during these times. As your mayor, I will bring the same dedication that I have brought as a councillor, which is to be inclusive, to be fair, to demonstrate good governance, as I've shown throughout my council term over the last 4 terms. And I understand the importance of empowering all councillors to pursue their passions and their priorities and ensure that the broader vision for Merri-bek remains progressive and sustainable. If elected, I'll dedicate myself to leading with transparency and fairness, fostering collaboration with councillors and ensuring that we remain focused on delivering the best outcomes for the people of Merri-bek.
Thank you, Councillor Davidson. Councillor Pulford, I invite you to speak.
Thank you, Kathy. It was a real privilege to serve as mayor last year in the final year of the council term, and I'd absolutely love the opportunity to do it again. This year, we're setting out on a new council term, and the first year is really important because it is the year that we form relationships and how we work together, but it's also where we form the new council plan, which is the document that kind of guides our work for the coming 4 to 5 years. I think as someone who's been mayor just recently, I'd offer continuity and leadership, and I would love the opportunity to help bring this group together around the council plan so that our collective vision, the common parts of our vision for this future of this city is realised. And I think I have the skills and able to bring this council together and do that. The other part of being mayor is you get to be an advocate for our city and our community. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the role last year. I got to talk about the future of our city, the fact that we need urgent investment in the upfield rail line if we actually want more people to be getting out of cars and onto the train, onto public transport, because that's good for climate, it's good for health, it's good for lower air pollution, and it's also good economically as well, because public transport is cheaper than owning a car. That's one example. We also have the Brunswick level crossing removals happening in our community in the coming years. I want to make sure our council is leading the way in making sure we get the best possible outcomes from that big project that's happening in the heart of our community. With those works happening, that we're going to lose our public and active transport, a major public and active transport route that is accessible for public transport, but also the upfield shared path, because they'll be closed during construction. So that puts a lot of need for accessible transport options on that part of our community. And so I'd continue to advocate to the state government to build some accessible tram stops on Sydney Road before the LXRP happens. That way people with disabilities or who need mobility aids actually have an accessible form of public transport while that construction's happening. I really support that project, but there's a chance to tie those two together. We've got to progress the new library and the vision for the Central Coburg. We've got to make sure that our aged care services are able to stay in council's hands. The federal government has a decision to make about whether they end block funding for a lot of our aged care services, and we've been a strong voice, this council, to keep aged care services in our hands, and we've got to keep that fight up, and this is a pivotal year. I was really proud in my term last year as mayor. I got to bring some attention to this issue, and I'd love to continue to do that. And then finally, the Mayoral site in Glenroy, we need that handed back to the Wurundjeri people. It's been great working with Kathleen Matthews-Ward and other representatives, and with that goal, there's a shared goal, and I think together we can make that happen, and I'm really excited about the future of that site. And tomorrow, actually, the Victorian government begins negotiations with the First Peoples Assembly, Aboriginal people, on treaty, and we have a chance here in Merri-bek to be part of a local treaty. So I'd love to be able to continue that work that we started. So yes, I'm asking for people's support this year for mayor. If I were to be mayor this year, I wouldn't intend to run for mayor or deputy again. That's a good innings, I'm happy with that. But I'm really passionate about the work. I love this city, and this would be an amazing opportunity to continue that for one more year, as well as help get this council on track in its very first year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pulford. I'm going to now proceed to put the election to the vote, and I'll start with in the order of nomination. So it'll be Councillor Davidson first and Councillor Pulford second. So all those who want to vote for Councillor Davidson as mayor, please raise your hand clearly and keep it raised. It is 6 votes for Councillor Davidson. For Councillor Pulford, all those voting in favour of Councillor Pulford, please put your hands up and raise your hands. That is 5 votes for Councillor Pulford. Thank you very much, councillors. It's my honour to declare elected Councillor Helen Davidson as Mayor of Merri-bek City Council. Mayor, if you'd like to come forward.
Thank you very much for the nominations, and thank you very much for the election as Mayor. My fellow councillors, Merri-bek community members, friends and family, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are meeting on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. I acknowledge them as traditional custodians of these lands and waterways, and I'd also like to pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging, as well as to all First Nations communities who have significantly contributed to the life of this area. I'm extremely honoured to be elected as Mayor of Merri-bek in a city that is enriched by its diverse, engaged and caring community. I'm proud to lead this council over the next 12 months with the support of my fellow councillors. I commit to leading the council with integrity, putting the community at the heart of everything we do. As a newly elected term of council, we are about to start working on a new 4-year council plan to set out our priorities and directions for the 4 years ahead of us. We are building on a great base of achievements from the previous council plan. We continue to provide more than 150 services for our community, including our much-loved maternal and child health services, libraries, youth services, as well as our in-home aged care services and our new outdoor help services for older people. We supported more good quality and affordable housing to be built in our community, further progressing with the Wilkin Street Social Housing Project. In Coburg, we consulted with the community and set clear vision for the future of council-owned land in central Coburg to support a new library, new public space, high-quality housing, including social and affordable housing, and thriving local economy. We continued to take local action on the climate crisis, reducing our own emissions and supporting low-income households to make a shift to renewable energy and improving the energy efficiency in their homes. This year, we also rolled out the purple glass bin, which reduced what we send to landfill and increased the amount of glass being recycled. And we took steps to make our streets more safer for everybody, reducing speed limits on 362 kilometres of local roads from 50 to 40 kilometres per hour. It's an incredible honour to be here before you as an independent mayor with no political affiliation. I'm deeply grateful to the people of Merri-bek for placing their trust in me as councillor, and to my colleagues as well, who have also put their trust in me to lead this vibrant and diverse community that has shaped much of who I am. Growing up in Glenroy, I was fortunate to experience a strong sense of community. One of my fondest memories was visiting the Glenroy Library with my father, a passionate reader and academic. In those pre-Google days, my dad and the librarians were my portal to the world. Their encouragement, paired with my father's love of learning, instilled in me a deep respect for knowledge and public space. This love of our libraries has stayed with me, from studying in the quiet corners during university to seeing them today as vital hubs for our community. They've become so much more than just libraries. Another place that holds a very special place in my heart is the Moonee Ponds Creek, which has always been a short walk from home. Its winding trails, changing beauty through the seasons, and the collective effort to restore its natural environment remind me of the value of preservation and community action. And I acknowledge the hard work of the Friends of Moonee Ponds Creek, which has been instrumental in restoring this creek to its natural environment. Our public spaces should be welcoming, accessible and safer for everyone. Improved lighting along footpaths and better maintained walkways are small but critical steps we can take to ensure our residents feel safe and secure as they move through our neighbourhoods. Whether it's a parent walking a child or cycling to school, or someone taking an evening stroll, these upgrades enhance our safety and encourage greater community connection. I've lived, worked and shopped in Merri-bek my entire life, and I feel a deep commitment to ensuring this community thrives. My mother, who is here today in the audience, Nancy Davidson, is my greatest inspiration. She's a strong, intelligent woman who embodies resilience and kindness. As a migrant from war-torn Italy, she overcame immense challenges, learning a new language and supporting her family in difficult times. Her example of compassion, whether it was helping neighbours with shopping, supporting local groups, or caring for her family, has profoundly shaped my values. She has taught me to live a life that is of value to others, to act with strength and to never stop listening and learning and approach challenges with grace. I also want to address an issue that remains close to my heart, and that is the prevention of family violence against women. Today we heard the devastating news of Isla Bell from Brunswick, who was allegedly murdered. I think we have a lot of work to do in this space, and I hope that we can connect with services and law enforcement to better protect women in Merri-bek and across Victoria. The lessons that I've learnt through my career as a family lawyer, particularly at Victoria Legal Aid, where I had the privilege of advocating for some of the most vulnerable members in our community, have really resonated with me. I've learnt that real challenge requires not just passion, but persistence and understanding and collaboration. My decision to run for council in 2012 was inspired by these values and my deep connection to Merri-bek. Over the years, I've learnt that leadership isn't about having all the answers, it's about listening, collaborating and empowering others. My perspective has evolved as I've worked with residents and fellow councillors and community groups. It's taught me the importance of balancing bold vision with practical solutions that have a lasting and tangible impact on the residents that we live with. As Mayor, I will continue to advocate for what matters most to our community: inclusive services, many which should remain in-house, vibrant local businesses and the protection of our environment. Together with my fellow councillors, the CEO, Cathy Henderson, whose leadership I admire, and our dedicated staff, we will work tirelessly to make Merri-bek a place where everyone feels supported and empowered. And I'd also like to thank Councillor Adam Pulford as the outgoing Mayor and his return to Council. Thank you for your strong leadership and your calm leadership as well. Over the past term, Council has been progressing a number of major projects, and I'm delighted that some of these projects will soon be completed and open to the community. The transformed $36 million Faulkner Leisure Centre is a 6-star Green Star rated building featuring an indoor and outdoor pools, a large gym floor for various kinds of workouts, larger space programs for activities, and an added pool for exercise and rehabilitation. I can't wait to see this fantastic community facility open to the public in December. And exciting changes have also been happening in what's known as Balam Balam Place in Brunswick. For the $29 million project, we're building a creative community hub with about 3,500 square metres of floor space. It's going to be an accessible and functional building with welcoming and affordable spaces for artists and the Merri-bek community. Construction is set to be completed with the facility in early 2025. And then there's York Street in Pascoe Vale. We've conducted community consultation on the design of a wonderful new park, and we expect to be awarding the tender for this park for construction in the first quarter of 2025. Among our many projects to improve our open space, we're also constructing a new dog park in Elms Court Reserve in Gowan Bray, with construction to start soon after February 2025. Some of the actions we're taking towards achieving an environmentally proactive Merri-bek include continuing to invest in our award-winning Ride and Stride program, an innovative behaviour change program designed to get more kids riding and striding and scooting to school to help meet our 2030 target of 80% of all school trips being made via sustainable forms of transport. And fulfilling a vision and direction for the new open space strategy, which was adopted in April this year and identifies priorities for new and expanded open spaces in Merri-bek. We will continue our advocacy with the state government on improving public transport, including seeking the duplication and extension of the Upfield rail line, improvements to the bus network and implementation of accessible tram stops on Sydney Road. Over the next few years, Merri-bek will see major transport infrastructure being constructed as part of the level crossing removal projects throughout Brunswick. We are not the decision makers on this project and will keep advocating for the community vision and desired outcomes of this project, which was developed during intense community consultation last year. Climate change will continue to be the front of mind for this council in decision making as we work towards mitigating the impacts on our community. Our climate risk strategy continues to help us assess how climate change will affect different parts of our community and what we can do to reduce those impacts. Our urban forest tree canopy is vital for maintaining temperatures, and we'll continue to dedicate our efforts to increase tree canopy cover. Over the past term, Council has been progressing a number of major projects. So these will be completed, and I'm looking forward to those moving forward. Merri-bek Council will continue to be a leader in supporting social justice and community health and wellbeing. Our initiatives include continuing to implement the LGBTQA+ action plan, including partnering with Many Coloured Skies and Darebin Council to research how Council can best support people from refugee and asylum seeker, migrant and faith communities. Continuing to support moves towards treaty with First Peoples and working with traditional owners of the Wurundjeri Wurrung people. And we will continue to support community advocacy for the state-owned Ballitma Route site in Glenroy to be returned to its traditional custodians. One of the most important responsibilities for an incoming council is to develop the new council action plan. This plan, which will set council priorities and directions for 2025 to 2029. The drafting of the new council plan will be informed and supported by community engagement, including a community panel which will meet intensively from February to provide dedicated feedback and ideas. And anyone from the Merri-bek community can register their interest in being on the panel. Registration closes in a few weeks on the 15th of December. Another thing Merri-bek is renowned for is our great creative industries and an array of festivals. So it's with a lot of fun that we're going to celebrate the Faulkner Festival, which occurred last Sunday. And coming up, we have the Carols by the Lake, which will be on Saturday the 8th of December. And that's a wonderful event that we can all attend. We also have the amazing Coburg Night Market, which will open on Friday the 13th of December. I'm proud to say that Merri-bek is a great place to live, work and play. We are one community proudly diverse, and I'm honoured to serve the people of Merri-bek in this role. And I look forward to working with my fellow councillors, council staff and the community to best achieve outcomes for this great city. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. This is the meeting agenda. The next item is election of deputy mayor. Okay, then you pass back to me. Great. Okay, so we're now going to elect the Deputy Mayor, and I ask the Chief Executive Officer, Cathy Henderson, to once again conduct the election in accordance with the governance rules.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And before I move on to the election of Deputy Mayor, can I just correct an omission from me earlier to recognise the presence of former Mayor and former Member of Parliament, Sam Ratnam. Apologies. And welcome everyone. It's lovely to see you all. So I'm going to open nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor. Do I have any nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor? Councillor Iwasaki.
I nominate Nat Abood.
Thank you, Councillor Iwasaki. Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Svensson.
Second the nomination.
Thank you. Councillor Abood, do you accept the nomination for Deputy Mayor?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for Deputy Mayor?
Can I please nominate Councillor Politis, sorry.
Thank you very much, Councillor Theodosis. Is there a seconder for Councillor Politis? Yes. Thank you, Councillor Yildiz. Councillor Politis, do you accept that nomination?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Councillor Politis. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations for Deputy Mayor? No, I'm going to close nominations for Deputy Mayor. Is there a motion to allow the Deputy Mayor candidates to speak? Yep.
I'll move that way.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that? Seconded by Councillor Iwasaki. All those in favour? All those against? I'm going to move on to speeches for candidates in nomination order. Can I just check, Councillor Abood, were you raising an additional issue? Thank you very much. So I'm going to ask in nomination order, invite the candidates for Deputy Mayor to speak. So commencing with you, Councillor Abood.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mayor Davidson. About almost a week ago, I said to every single person in this room that I thought that we should start our council term with an independent mayor and an independent deputy. I stated my reasons for that, which are amongst other things, the fact that as a school council president, which will cause me to leave the room on many occasions, Marianne, I'm sure you'll see, I'm working with politicians from all walks of the political sphere. I think independence in our first year of council will be valuable because I think that there is enough going on outside this council chamber that is political for us to bring politics in here. Until about 1 minute before this meeting started, I was under no impression that I had any support and certainly not the 6 votes that I would need to get elected as the deputy, and that still may not happen. I've accepted the nomination because from the very beginning of these conversations, I've said to everybody, I think we need an independent mayor and an independent deputy, and until moments ago, literally, I didn't think that was what was going to be happening. So I'm pleased to be nominated as the deputy. I'm also very pleased to be able to be nominated as the deputy under you, Councillor Davidson, and I think that I'll do a brilliant job.
Thank you very much, Councillor Abood. Councillor Politis, I invite you to speak.
Thank you. I nominated for Deputy Mayor because I love this city in which I grew up in. I'm a mother, I'm a carer, I'm also a small business owner myself, and I have engaged extensively with many people across all walks of life in this community over a long period of time. I support many sporting clubs, including some which I've helped establish. I'm a life member of the Coburg Athletic Centre. I'm also a life member of the Lefkadian Club, which represents the region of Greece that my parents came from. I've stepped up to this role because I believe that my lifetime of community activism, and it has been a lifetime, it started off when I was a teenager and helped establish a youth centre in Sydney Road in Brunswick, for which I was recognised as a Queen Elizabeth II Young Achiever of the Year. This activism as and advocacy for the community has continued. So I also think that when you get into council, it's not just only about community. I think you need a solid skill set in terms of what it means to be on council, to understand concerns not only as a citizen, but also what it means to be running, helping to run an organisation, and many organisations on both a micro scale and on a large scale, such as council. And I feel that I have very strong capability, particularly because, as in my consulting practice, I work with people all across the globe. So I have offered myself to council in the role of Deputy Mayor in the first year because I think it's very important to be able to set the direction, particularly at a time when there are parts of this city that need reinvigoration and redevelopment. I think that I can make a very strong contribution. I can work very effectively with all people. I'm delighted to see you in the role as Mayor, and I also bring with me some very strong networks, not only across the community and deeply within the community, but across all levels and all walks of life. So for this reason, I ask you to consider my candidacy as Deputy Mayor for Merri-bek.
Thank you very much, Councillor Politis. So I'm now going to put this to the vote in nomination order. So I'll start with Councillor Abood. All of those in favour of voting for Councillor Abood for Deputy Mayor, please put your hand up and keep your hand raised. That is 5 votes for Councillor Abood. Thank you. For Councillor Politis, all those in favour of Councillor Politis becoming Deputy Mayor, please raise your hand and keep it raised. That is 5, 3, 4. That is 6 votes. Congratulations, Councillor Politis. I pronounce you elected Deputy Mayor. Congratulations.
Okay, while the ceremony part of this evening has concluded, there's some further business for Council to consider tonight. Firstly, we have the proposed meeting dates, which were circulated with the agenda. There is a councillor that will move a motion to adopt the councillor meeting dates for 2025, Councillor Yildiz. And do we have a seconder? Councillor Theodosis. Councillor Yildiz, do you want to state what you're moving? Yep. So it is that Council sets the dates and times for council meetings in 2025 as printed in the agenda and designates those meetings indicated for consideration for the planning and related matters in accordance with the governance rules at point 1. And point 2 sets the dates and times for the election of the Mayor for 2025 and 2026 as the 19th of November 2025 at 7 p.m. And the third point is that appends a schedule of council meeting to the minutes, publishes it on the council website and makes it available at customer service centres. So, Councillor Yildiz, you're moving those points as written? Yep.
Those 3 points as read.
Thank you, Councillor Theodosis, for seconding that. Is there any debate or discussion on this? All those in favour of approving the council meeting dates for 2025? I declare that carried unanimously. And I move to the final item on tonight's agenda, item 11, the appointments to portfolios, internal committees, advisory committees, referencing groups and other external bodies. Councillor Abood has her hand up. Thank you, Councillor Abood. Is there a seconder? And Councillor Bolton.
My mic wasn't on, but I'm proposing that we defer this motion.
Yep. So we have that on the screen. I'll read that out. That the appointments to the portfolios, internal committees, advisory committees, reference groups and other external bodies be deferred to the 11th of December this year for that council meeting to allow councillors additional time to consider what portfolios and committees and groups and bodies they would like to nominate for. All those in favour of deferring? All those against? Yep. I declare that carried unanimously. Now, that does draw our meeting to a close. I'd like to thank everyone who attended in the gallery tonight and those who viewed online. Thank you to all my council colleagues, and I look forward to the year ahead working with you all. Oh, and everyone, there is some light refreshments around the corner if you'd all like to attend. It'd be nice to see you there.